जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरि वरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरि वरधारी। जय गिरि वरधारी। जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जन रंजन। जय ब्रज जन रंजन। जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जन रंजन। जय ब्रज जन रंजन। जय यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय कुंज बिहारी। जय यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय कुंज बिहारी। जय यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरक से श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रीला भयचरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत गोस्वामी महाराज शिला प्रभुपाद की, इस्कॉन विपट संस्थापकाचार्य श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोदरक से श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रीला भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड श्री गिरि गोवर्धन की। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की, गंगा माई की, जमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी की। कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदायिनी श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की। कलयुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की। श्रीला प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की। श्री श्री गौर पूर्णिमा महामहोत्सव की। तय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। On the most auspicious occasion of Shri Gaur Purnima, we are reading from Caitanya-caritamrta Adilila, chapter 14, text 1. Kathanchana smrte yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्री चैतन्यं नमामि तं। कथंचन स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्री चैतन्यं नमामि तं। कथंचन स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्री चैतन्यं नमाम्यहं। कथंचन स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्री चैतन्यं नमामि तं। Ladies, Kathanchana, somehow or other, Smriti, by remembering, Yasmin, whom, Dushkaram, difficult things, Sukaram, easy, Bhavet, become, Vismrite, by forgetting him, Viparitam, just the opposite, Syat, become, Sri Chaitanyam, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Namami, I offer my respectful obeisances, Tam, unto him. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Things that are very difficult to do become easy to execute if one somehow or the other simply remembers Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if one does not remember him, even easy things become very difficult. To this Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I offer my respectful obeisances. Purport. In his book Caitanya-caritamrta, Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati says, one who receives a little favor from the Lord becomes so exalted that he does not care even for liberation, which is sought after by many great scholars and philosophers. Similarly, a devotee of Lord Chaitanya considers residence in the heavenly planets a will of the wisp. He surpasses the perfection of mystic yoga powers because for him the senses are like snakes with broken fangs. A snake is a very fearful and dangerous animal because of his poison fangs. But if these fangs are broken, the appearance of a snake is no cause for fear. The yoga principles are meant to control the senses, but there is some scope for the senses of one engaged. There is no scope for the senses of one engaged in the service of the Lord to be dangerous like snakes. These are the gifts of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Hari Bhakti Vilas confirms that difficult things become easy to understand if one remembers Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and easy things become very difficult to understand if one forgets him. We actually see that even those who are very great scientists in the eyes of the general public cannot understand the very simple idea that life comes from life because they do not have the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They defend the false understanding that life comes from matter, although they cannot prove that this is a fact. Modern civilization, therefore, progressing on the basis of false scientific theory, is simply creating problems to be solved by the so-called scientists. The author of Sri Caitanya-caritamrta takes shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to describe the pastimes of his appearance as a child, because one cannot write such transcendental literature by mental speculation. One who writes about the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be especially favored by the Lord. Simply by academic qualifications, it is not possible to write such literature. Srila Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna. And on the most auspicious occasion of Gaur Purnima 2025, I welcome all the devotees for this morning's discussion and contemplation on Gaur Leela. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed many pastimes which have been chronicled in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, in Sri Caitanya-caritamrta, in Sri Chaitanya Mangal. Lord Chaitanya personally spoke to Srila Rupa and Sanatana Goswami the entire philosophy of Krishna consciousness in Prayagraj and Varanasi. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally wrote only 8 verses, the Shikshashtakam. And in the second verse, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes the power of the holy name. And he says, Namnam Akari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shaktis. The holy name is powerful. Tatrarpita Niyamita Smarane Nakala. The holy name is accessible. Etadrishi Tabakripa Bhagavan Mamapi. The holy name is very merciful. The holy name is powerful, accessible, and merciful, but there is a huge difficulty. What is that? That Durdaivam idrisham iha jani na anuraga. I do not have taste for the holy name because of offenses. And therefore, the question arises, how to counteract one's misfortune by destroying our offensive mentality, and how to develop taste. To respond to this, Lord Chaitanya writes the next verse, which is Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. Kirtaniya sadahari means to be constantly chanting the holy names of Hari, which basically means to constantly aspire to serve Krishna and constantly pray for that service, because ultimately devotional service is centered around 5 things. The pure intention to serve Krishna, which must lead to a very, very deep inspiration to serve with impeccable integrity, clarity in intelligence, and tremendous intensity to continue the process in spite of challenges and difficulties. And therefore, today, we will discuss Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's character and pastimes with respect to how he has demonstrated through his pastimes each and every aspect of this Trinad Api Sunichena verse. In the 11th canto, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's descent is described as Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayair Yajantihi Sumedhasha. The most intelligent, they worship the Supreme Lord who has appeared. Tvisha Akrishnam, Krishna who has appeared in a golden complexion, not blackish form, along with his associates, to establish the Sankirtan Yagya. But what is the special characteristic feature of this Krishna who has appeared? Krishna Varnam. He is constantly chanting the names of Krishna. And therefore, Kanchana Sadrisha Deha Aruna Vasan Pulaka Ashrukampa Sveda Tahate Bhushan. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is inaugurating the Harinama Sankirtan in his beautiful golden effulgent form as a sannyasi, with reddish complexion clothes, demonstrating all kinds of symptoms of love, of ecstasy. He is constantly chanting the names of Krishna. So, what is that by which one can constantly chant the holy names that is described in this verse? So, the first element is Trinad Api Suni Chena, which basically means humility like a blade of grass. What is humility? The highest humility is when love for Krishna is matured. And Dainyam tu paramam premna paripakena janyate. When premna paripakena, when love matures, then that is the essence of humility. One sees humility in its full power. This example is seen amongst the gopis who are willing to live and stay awaiting Krishna's appearance. Two things test love. Uncertainty and separation are constantly testing the quality, the intensity, the degree, the depth of love. And so, the gopis are demonstrating impeccable humility because their love has matured. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while instructing the Goswamis to write the literatures in Sri Vrindavandam of the Gaudiya philosophy, it is described by Srila Kaviraj Goswami in the Madhya Lila. Prabhuragyaya koila sab shastrera vichar brajeda niguda bhakti korila prachar. The first element which the Goswamis imbibed was submission, which is sadachar. They followed the instructions to the core. When there is sadachar, then based on that sadachar, there should be shastra vichar, study. And when there is submission and study, when there is sadachar and shastra vichar, brajer niguda bhakti korila prachar, then one gets empowered to do the preaching or spread the power of the holy names. And so, many people want to experience Braja Bhakti. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has very specifically delineated the krama, the order in which Braja Bhakti can be experienced. It has to begin with sadachar, submission and humility. Now the question arises, why there is a description of a blade of grass? The blade of grass, and sometimes Srila Prabhupada would mention straw on the street. So Gauranga Prabhu has written a nice book on Shikshashtakam. And in that he mentions that straw on the street is even more powerless than blade of grass. Blade of grass can at least stand up. But the straw on the street is practically lifeless. It is uprooted, discarded, trampled, with no position, with no potential, but without any complaint, without any retaliation. It is grounded. That's the natural identity of the straw on the street, to be in that position. So the ego is basically misidentification of the soul with the body, with husband, wife, misidentification with the children, misidentification with our property, misidentification with money, misidentification with social influence, misidentification with our career. All of these different kinds of misidentifications give rise to the false ego. And hence, the idea of humility is to be reinstated in the original ego, which is I am a servant of Krishna, I am a soul. And that soul, irrespective of whichever part of the world you may be from, is an eternal servant of Krishna and does not depend on any particular birth, caste, or other considerations. Srila Prabhupada was in Chennai with his Western disciples. One scholar from Chennai approached Srila Prabhupada and he started making comments. And he said to Srila Prabhupada, your American disciples, they are not chanting Sanskrit shlokas with the right pronunciation. They don't know how to chant these verses. Srila Prabhupada said, you are a Sanskrit scholar. Why don't you come and stay with us in the temple and teach them rather than sitting and complaining? So you come in, you teach them. And then he started considering. It was a sudden offer. Prabhupada surprised him. And then Srila Prabhupada said, but when you stay with us in the temple, no coffee. Immediately the scholar said, Swamiji, in fact their pronunciation is not bad. So Srila Prabhupada would often say, it is so easy to find fault. But the Krishna consciousness movement is designed to transform character, transform consciousness, transform one's desires. Mlecha jati mlecha sevi kori mlecha karma go brahmana drohe sange amara sangam. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Ramakeli, Sri Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, who were the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister, with such high positions in society, came and fell at the feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with straw in their teeth. And they say, a person gets elevated or degraded in life based on three things: one's birth, one's association, and one's occupation. My dear Lord, we are degraded in all the three ways. We are totally, utterly, helplessly dependent on your divine grace. Jagai madhai hoite koti koti gun adhama patita prabhu amiduijan. In fact, my dear Lord, we are worse and more fallen than Jagai and Madhai. They had some bad habits, but they did not serve demoniac people, which we are doing. And therefore, we beg at your lotus feet to deliver us from this deep ditch of material existence. Mora karma mora hathe golaye bandhiya ko vishaya vishtha garthe diyache phelaiya. We cannot blame anyone for our fallen condition, because it is the individual soul who finally makes the choices. And we have tied the rope of our wrong choices around our neck and forcibly thrown ourselves into the ditch of material sense gratification. And the only hope is your divine grace. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu may respond, oh, you think you are qualified for that grace? You think you are so elevated that you can access that grace? So Rupa and Sanatan immediately respond and say, Vaman che chand dharite chahe kore taiche ei vancha more uthaye antare. My dear Lord, we understand, we accept that you are like the moon in the sky and we are just like dwarf. A dwarf can never aspire to touch the moon, but the moonshine can always touch the dwarf. And therefore, your divine mercy can always touch us and transform us. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is extremely touched by their humility. And Lord Chaitanya responds to them. Aji hoite duhar naam rupa sanatan dainya chhada tomar dainye phate moraman. Lord Chaitanya says, today I initiate you. And after initiation, I give you the name Rupa and Sanatan. And then he says, the first instruction I want to give you after your initiation is give up your humility. Give up your humility. During one of the initiation ceremonies with Radhanath Maharaj, devotees are all excited usually when they come up to take the vows. So many years ago, I don't remember the year, this devotee came up and then, he was speaking his vows that I will chant the 16 rounds and 4 regulatory principles. And then he said, and I promise to chant the 16 rounds till my last breath. And Maharaj said, keep breathing. Another devotee said, I promise to chant, because Radhanath Maharaj was having the beads in his hand to give. And this devotee was sitting and looking at the bead, like he was aspiring for years together to get that. So he was looking focused on that bead and he said, I promise to chant 16 rounds on your beads. Maharaj said, I am already doing that on my beads. You take care of your beads. And then he gave this. Lord Chaitanya is telling, your humility is breaking my heart. So, the greatest acharyas in our sampradaya have always touched the Lord's heart with the humility. Sometimes people question, is humility weakness? Is humility inferiority complex? Is that humility? Is humility lack of confidence? Oh, I don't know to do this particular seva and I'm not confident. So is that humility? Is humility frustration due to not being able to do some seva? Is humility self-pity? Is humility incapability? Is humility lack of self-respect? All of these are misunderstandings. The real humility is to understand two things. What is Krishna's position? That is the supreme. And what is my position? I am his insignificant eternal servant. Therefore, to understand the insignificance of the soul with respect to Krishna's all-powerful nature, and to understand the soul's eternal dependence on Krishna, that is the essence of humility. And so it is described. Chaitanya lila ratnasar swarupera bhandar teho thoila raghuna tera kanthe taha kichu je shunilu taha iha vistarilu bhakta gana dilu ei bhete. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Sri Caitanya-caritamrta, who has written this beautiful verse. And he is in his 90s. Nowadays, people in their 20s are saying, I'm having back pain. I'm feeling weak. I'm having panic attack. I'm having this and that. This is 90 plus. So the good news is, there is no age limit to seva. And there is no retirement age also. But the bad news is you have to continue chanting also till then. There is no retirement age from chanting. Once you get that taste, then it becomes joyful. So he's saying that this, whatever I'm writing, to write a book takes a lot of effort. But these leelas are ratnasar, are jewels. And those jewels were within the storehouse of Swarup Damodar Goswami. And then Swarup Damodar Goswami gave those jewels to Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, who was kept under the shelter of Swarup Damodar Goswami by Lord Chaitanya. Raghunath Das Goswami stayed with Lord Chaitanya from 1516 till almost 1534, 1518, almost 16 years. And in those 16 years, as soon as he arrived, Lord Chaitanya told him, you be under Swarup Damodar Goswami. For 16 years, Raghunath Das Goswami had a personal conversation with Lord Chaitanya. You know how many times? Once. That's more tough than being in separation. And once when Raghunath Das Goswami told Swarup Damodar Goswami, can I have one conversation? And Swarup Damodar Goswami expresses Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya says, why? I've already put him under your shelter. Why does he want a personal conversation? And then in the Anta Lila 6th chapter, if you see, the instructions Lord Chaitanya gives to Raghunath Das Goswami is part of that conversation. So Raghunath Das Goswami has been at the very forefront of witnessing all these pastimes. Teho Thuila Raghunatera Kante, and all of those pastimes were spoken by Raghunath Das Goswami on the bank of Radha Kund, and Kaviraj Goswami was in the audience. So he says, Taha kichu je shunilu taha iha bistarilu. Whatever I heard, I'm sharing here. Bhakta Gana dilu ei bhete, just like a gift to the devotee community. But Kaviraj Goswami says, I feel incapable, incapacitated, impossible to even write this literature. Why? Because I'm so old, I'm so frail, and there is such uncertainty about my lifespan. Sheshalilar Sutragan Korikichu Bibaran Iha Vistarite Chitta Hoy. Whether I will have the time and the energy to complete the Anta Lila, I don't know. Because when I close my eyes at night, I have no guarantee whether I will open it in the morning. The literature should not remain unfinished. And therefore, Thake jadi ayushesh, bistariba lila shesh, jadi Mahaprabhur kripa hoye. If I am given extra lifespan by the Lord's grace, because the breath which I am having, the energy which I am having, the lifespan and the ability to see the sunrise and sunset every day is not my own power. It's a gift being given by the Lord. And therefore, every single day is uncertain. If Lord Chaitanya allows me to live, then I will write. Otherwise, I'm totally dependent. That's his humility. So therefore, material activities depends on skill and expertise. But spiritual activities depend on submission and sincerity. And all that one requires is not assets. One requires the right attitude. And Kaviraj Goswami is demonstrating the attitude of humility because of which he is empowered to write this literature. Ami bruddha jaratur likhite ka payakar manakichu smarane na hoye. I am extremely old, afflicted by old age and disease. As I write, my hands are trembling. Na dekhiye nayane, na shuniye shravane. I cannot see with my eyes, I cannot hear with my ears. Tabu likhi e bada vismay. Still I am writing. It's an astonishing feat. It's only by the grace of the Lord. So that's the humility which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is impressed with. When Lord Chaitanya is in South India and he meets this Brahmana, This Brahmana does not know Sanskrit and he is reading the Bhagavad Gita upside down. And at that time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks him, Mahaprabhu puchila tare shuna mahashay, kon artha jani tomar eta sukha hoy. What is that which is giving you such bliss that you are crying ecstasy, although you are not even able to read the Gita? You are holding it upside down. Vipra kahe, murkha ami, shabdartha na jani, shuddha ashuddha Gita padi, Guru Ragya mani. Says, my dear sir, I am a fool. I have no qualification. I have no talent. I have no scholarship. I have no ability. Murkha ami. Shabda arth na jani. I cannot even read these, akshar. But I am simply following the instruction of my Guru, who told me to read and study Gita every day. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada in this beautiful purport mentions that in Krishna consciousness, expertise in a service is not important, but sincere engagement in the service with submission to the order and the instructions of the Vaishnavas is all powerful. And that submission and sincerity can empower one beyond imagination. And so, submission is more important than perfection. So one should not postpone the beginning of a seva just because of lack of qualification. Because the only qualification is required is the humility to follow the instruction and begin the service. So that's, something which is very, very crucial and important. And in this age of Kali, you may think, I don't have scholarship, I don't have ability. How can I start studying the Gita? I don't know Sanskrit. And many times one of the common things which people say, I'm not studying any of Srila Prabhupada's books at all. Why? Because I can't remember anything. Every chapter looks like same. Many times I forget which chapter I studied. And then after some time it looks like maybe I studied this before. For years together I have not gone beyond third canto. Many devotees do. I have never gone beyond second canto. As soon as Kapila's teachings come, then, I see the universal form. And I can't see anything beyond that. We used to give lectures on the Star Plus, 2001, and that Star Plus Atma serial, they repeated it for 7 years, till 2008. Same lecture series they repeated. And people would come to me and say, this year's series is better than last year's. And I would tell them, Baba, it is the same thing being repeated. He says, no, alag hai. I said, it is not different. I am the one who spoke, Baba. He says, no, you speak so many times you forget. This is something new. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not looking at expertise. He is looking at sincere engagement. And for that, all we need is humility. Whatever may be the past life's karma does not matter as far as sincere submissive engagement is concerned. Nobody imagined that Srila Prabhupada would establish temples across the world in civilizations, in countries where they have never heard about Krishna, where the worship of Radha and Krishna and Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Gaur Nita is never been heard. So Srila Prabhupada initiated the youth in their 20s and installed deities and gave them the instruction to worship the deities. It was unheard of. And Srila Prabhupada had that faith. Because they are sincere and submissive, dadami buddhi yogam tam, Krishna will give the intelligence. In New Zealand, the devotees got enthusiastic and they thought, we have already got Gaur Nitai, but we should also install Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. But the space was less in the altar. They could not place them on the side. So they decided, we'll make a revolving altar and place Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra behind Gaur Nitai, back to back. And then they had a switch by which they switched and the altar would revolve. So Prabhupada came, offered obeisances to Gaur Nitai. When he got up, he saw Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. He was totally bewildered. And Prabhupada said, yes, you are definitely very enthusiastic, creative, but this is not allowed. So, the very fact that Krishna consciousness spread all over the world and spread by youth who had never had access to this Krishna consciousness before is a testimony that all we need is to sincerely follow the process. And therefore, this is the power of humility. Another important element with respect to Trinadapi Sunichena or humility is one has to be servant conscious and not crave for credit. And Kaviraj Goswami, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, while writing the Caitanya-caritamrta, is demonstrating such impeccable character trait. Generally, when we come in the association of devotees, because we have this false ego in the conditioned state, we also start thinking, I'm senior, he's younger, he got initiated 3 days after me, so I'm senior. They are not so senior, and why should I listen to them or this or that? But Kaviraj Goswami, in writing, in the Caitanya-caritamrta, he's seeking the blessings of devotees for his effort. And he says, Chota bada bhaktagan, vando sabar sricharan, sabe more karah santosh, swarupa gosai ramata, rupa raghunath janayata, tai likhi nahi mora dosh. He says, I seek the blessings of each and every devotee in this assembly. Chota bada bhaktagan. One who is bhajana vigya expert, bhajana shila, one who is engaged in sadhana bhakti under instructions of the Guru, seriously taking commitment and responsibility, and Krishna Name Dikshita, Krishna Nama Kori, the neophyte who has just got connected to Krishna consciousness and been initiated into the process of chanting. Right? So Srila Prabhupada says, neophyte means what? I gave the example the other day, AI. Nowadays AI is very prominent. AI. Not artificial intelligence. AI means the neophyte has a tendency for argumentation and impudence. Impudence. And therefore, all categories of bhaktas, whether chota or bada, I seek their blessings. And he says, therefore I write the Caitanya-caritamrta under the instruction of the Vaishnavas in Braj. Paya jara agyadhan brajera Vaishnavagan tara madhye mukhya haridas Chaitanya bilasa sindhu kolloler ekabindu taha kana kohe Krishnadas. From the ocean of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, I am just writing one particle being ordered by Srila Rupa Goswami's disciple, who is Haridas. Haridas Pandit was the person who was worshipping Shri Radha Govindadev. On his instruction, I am doing this. And therefore, this should be the mood where we are totally dependent without wanting to take any credit. And Kaviraj Goswami also says, When these Vaishnavas ordered me, Vaishnavera Agya Paya Chintita Antare Madana Gopala Gela Agya Magibare. Being instructed by the Vaishnavas, Chintita Antare, I became Chintit. Not because why they instructed me. Many times we are in Chinta because of that. Payayar Agya Dhan. Many times we consider Dhan, Agya not to be Dhan but Agya Gan. Why I have been told this? So he says, Chintita means not why. How can I do this? Are Vrindavan Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, he has written Chaitanya Bhagavat. It's such a historic literature. And I have to write something in the footsteps of such a personality. So Chintita. So when one is fulfilled with Chinta on how I will accomplish a seva, we have to go to the deities and beg. Madana Gopala Gela Agya Magi Bare. And so when I pray to Sri Madan Gopal, Madan Mohan, the garland fell and the pujari placed that garland upon my neck. And so I have full faith that this is the main principle. E grantha Madana Gopala ye likhai, kashtera puttali yena kuhake nachai. Kuladhi devata more Madana Mohan, jara sevak Raghunath rupa sanatan. My Kula Devata is Madan Mohan. By their instruction, I have written this literature and I have no other credit. I cannot take any credit for this. It is simply the Lord has instructed, the Lord has inspired. Many years ago, Radhanath Maharaj inspired 2-3 Western devotees who had come from America and taking some brahmachari training here, that you should also go out and do Western outreach in Mumbai. So they were very hesitant and, we are not qualified, we are not this, we are that. So then Maharaj finally, told them, you have to start. And then to inspire them, he said, you spread the names in Mumbai just like Srinivas, Narottam and Shyamanand spread the message in Bengal and Orissa. The three of you, may you be empowered like Srinivas, Shyamanand and Narottam. So they got very inspired. Oh wow, that's pretty tall order. And they started, and then Maharaj went to the West and he came back, and then one of them found it difficult to stay here, so he left. So only 2 were remaining. So when Maharaj came, he called them and the 2 of them went, and Maharaj said, what happened to the third person? So one of them said, Maharaj, only Shyamanand and Srinivas remaining. Narottam left. Maharaj said, no, Jagai and Madhai left. So we have to strive to perform our best in spite of not having any qualification, and be away from the tendency to take credit. So that is a very crucial element which we see again and again. When Lord Chaitanya is with Ramananda Rai and speaking at Kovur, Ramananda Rai is speaking to Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is requesting him, begging him to speak. And Lord Chaitanya says, Prabhu kahe aage kaha, shunite paye sukhe, apurva amrita nadi bahe, tomara mukhe. An unprecedented river of nectar is flowing from your lips. Please speak more. And Ramananda Rai immediately counteracts and he says, actually, it is not to my credit. How I am able to speak these words? Hridaya prerana kara, jihvai kahavani, ki kohiye bhalamanda kichhue na jani. You are the one who's inspiring me from within. Whether I am speaking correct or incorrect, I don't know. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately counteracts that. And Lord Chaitanya says, Prabhu kahe mayavadi amito sannyasi Krishna tattva nahi jani mayavade bhasi. You are glorifying me? Are I am mayavadi sannyasi. I don't even know what is Krishna tattva. And then Lord Chaitanya says, Sarva bhauma sange moramana nirmala hoila Krishna bhakti tattva kaha tahare puchila. Actually, it is by the association of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya that I got purified. Now all of us know the history. Who purified whom? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu transformed Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya from being an impersonalist scholar. And he says, I asked him, please tell me what is Krishna Bhakti Tattva. And you know what Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya told me? Teho kahe aame nahi jani Krishna katha sabe Ramananda jane teho nahi etha. I don't know anything about Krishna katha, only Ramananda knows. Go and ask Ramananda Rai. So Lord Chaitanya folds his hands and pleads with Ramananda Rai. Tomar thani aila tomar mahima shuniya tumi mora stuti kara sannyasi janiya. You are glorifying me because of social respect of being a sannyasi. But my needs for spiritual rejuvenation is more than the needs for social respect. The soul is thirsty for the joy of Krishna consciousness, which can only come when we engage in submissive hearing. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is demonstrating the perfect example of humility with no tendency to take credit and giving all credit to Ramananda Rai. And therefore, this Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, if we seek respect, then we will get respect. But if we seek rasa, then we will get rasa. So Ramananda Rai is giving Lord Chaitanya respect. But Lord Chaitanya says, my soul's need is not respect. My soul's need is the Krishna ras. And therefore, you please speak this Krishna katha to me. So Srila Prabhupada, when he was in Vrindavan and the Krishna Balaram temple construction was going on, so the devotees left from Fogla Ashram and they were going towards the Krishna Balaram temple construction site. On the way, there was a Brajavasi who was selling some sweets, and he invited the devotees and he said, I want to just distribute some sweets for free to you. And there was Rasgulla, Sandesh, Rasmalai, Jalebi, hot jalebis, early in the morning, winter time. You don't need too much of invitation to accept this offer. So the devotee stood there, started eating, seva, Brajavasi seva. And then Srila Prabhupada's car suddenly came there. And the devotees did not know where to hide what they had in their hand. And there was no table, nothing, it was out on the street. So Prabhupada's car passed by and went ahead. So the devotees were relieved. Oh, the car went ahead. The car stopped and took a reverse. And Srila Prabhupada's car stood right in front of where the devotees were. Someone had something in their hand, someone had in their mouth on one side. And then Prabhupada rolled the window down, looked at all the devotees. They were all tense. Srila Prabhupada had wide eyes. And then suddenly Prabhupada smiled. And Prabhupada said, Bengali sweets essential for life. So the devotees were very relieved. Oh, Prabhupada is encouraging us. 2 years later, one devotee was at a program in California. They had a book table, they had a prasadam stall. And when Prabhupada came after the lecture, one devotee who was from that episode, he took one sandesh and gave it to Srila Prabhupada. He said, Srila Prabhupada, Bengali sweet. Prabhupada picked up the Caitanya-caritamrta and he said, this is the real Bengali sweet. So Srila Prabhupada took a break from the translation and giving commentaries to the Srimad Bhagavatam between 1972 to 1974. And significantly, because of taking that break, he could give the English commentaries to the Caitanya-caritamrta, which for 400 plus years had always remained embedded in Bengali. If you did not know Bengali, you could not have accessed the Caitanya-caritamrta. It is by the divine grace of Srila Prabhupada that the Caitanya-caritamrta was translated, and Prabhupada gave brilliant purports in Bengali, and because of which all of us have the ability to access this. So we are eternally grateful to Srila Prabhupada for making that happen. And not only that, Srila Prabhupada instructed his disciples. They said, it will take us few years to print this. Prabhupada said, I want all the books to be printed in 2 months. They said, impossible. Prabhupada said, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. And Srila Prabhupada consistently followed up with them. 2 months, hundreds of devotees, they lost their sleep, had no rest. They were painters who were painting day and night. They were editors. They were those in printing. They were those in distribution. They were those in the logistics. Non-stop, sleepless nights were spent. Sleepless nights were spent by Srila Prabhupada to translate into English. Sleepless nights were spent by the devotees to print it and bring it in this form. So on this day of Gaur Purnima, we should offer a prayer of gratitude to Srila Prabhupada and all those devotees in the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust who made this English Caitanya-caritamrta possible, because of which we could get access to this. So, the next element in this verse is Taror api sahishnuna. Taror api sahishnuna means more tolerant than a tree. So the tree is tolerant because it has compassion, selfless service, gives generously, endures hardships, no retaliation, no demand, continues to serve selflessly and asks nothing in return. Pashyadaitan mahabhagan parasyaikanta jivitan vatavarsha atapahiman sahanto varayantina. The trees of Vrindavan are glorified by Krishna, that they constantly give, and forgive. And therefore, their life is dedicated just to serve. Therefore, they are the greatest souls. Parasya aikanta, patra pushpa phala chaya, moola valkala darubhi. They give flowers, fruits, shade, wood. Even they give shade to the woodcutter who's coming and wanting to cut. They give shade to that person. So the trees are an embodiment of tolerance. So in the Shastras, 6 levels of tolerance are described. Level 1 is at the physical level. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shita ushna sukha dukkhada, which is external discomfort like heat and cold. So, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is cleansing the Gundicha temple, the Gundicha temple within is extremely hot and humid in the month of July when Rath Yatra happens. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is serving with the greatest enthusiasm. And Lord Chaitanya tells the devotees, Prabhu kahe ke kotakor yacha samarjan trunadhuli dekhile janib parishram. I want to see each one of you serving and striving tirelessly, and I will judge how much you have served based on what is the quantum of dirt you collect. Prema veshe Prabhu kahe Krishna Krishna naam ekale prema veshe kore shata janer kam. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is serving and cleaning the Gundicha temple, he is doing that with great enthusiasm constantly chanting Krishna's holy name. Premaveshe Prabhu kahen Krishna, Krishna Nam. The constant names of Krishna is being chanted by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ekale premaveshe koren shatajaner kam. Lord Chaitanya himself alone is doing the seva of at least 100 other people. So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is engaged in this activity in order to give pleasure to Lord Jagannath. And so it is described. Nirmala Shitala Snigdha Korila Mandire Apana Hridaya Yena Dharila Bahire. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to transform that Gundicha temple into a space which is clean, cool and cozy, comfortable. Just like his clean and cool heart. Nirmala Shitala Snigdha. So that is the intention which is driving him. And therefore, when there are episodes where there are external discomforts, heat or cold or weather or this or that at the physical level, the sincerity and the purity with which we serve, that will help us be productive and continue. So therefore, prema as an intention is more powerful than mere passion. Because passion makes us take decisions in ways which we may regret later. Passion makes us take the wrong choices. We do things at the spur of the moment. We cross the line. I was going in a car many years ago and someone was driving me and there was red signal. And I told this devotee who was driving, hey, it's red signal. He crossed the line. He pressed on the accelerator. And we went faster. I said, hey, it's red signal. He said, they are for ordinary people. And then when we crossed, suddenly there was a policeman who was behind the trees. He immediately came and stopped. And as soon as he stopped, he came and told this driver, hey, signal nahi dekha kya? And the devotee said, aapko nahi dekha. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is serving in the consciousness that Krishna is seeing. If we have to serve only due to the influence of a supervisor who will constantly see whether I am serving or not, as soon as someone stops seeing, we go to sleep, then that is not seva. So therefore, a sincere devotee is constantly serving with the full understanding that Krishna is constantly observing me. That is the sincerity, that is the purity with which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is cleaning the Gundicha temple. Similarly, when we do our sadhana, there may be nobody observing us. But yes, we are conscious Krishna is constantly observing. So that is the first level of tolerance, physical. Level 2 is at the mental. Jitatmana prashantasya paramatma samahita shitoshna sukha dukkheshu. So apart from Shita Ushna, which is physical, second is Sukha and Dukkha, which is happiness and distress. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a deep desire to go to Vrindavan, but somehow his plans were scuttled. And the devotees were not allowing him to go. Yadyapi swatantra prabhu nahe nivaran bhakta Bhakta Ichha Vina Prabhu Nokore Gaman. When our plans are smashed, we become filled with dukkha. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood that to enter Vrindavan, we can only enter with the blessings and permission of the devotee. Yadyapi Swatantra Prabhu, although he was independent, supremely independent, Nahe Nivaran, he never dared or desired to cross the line of etiquette. Bhakta Ichha Vina Prabhu no kore gaman. Without the devotees' blessings, he did not go. In fact, when he goes to Ramakeli and from there he is wanting to go via the Grand Trunk Road to Vrindavan, Sanatan Goswami, he stops him and he tells him, Durlabha Durgamasai Nirjana Vrindavan Ekaki Jai Ma Kiba Sange Ekajan. It is the first time Sanatan Goswami is meeting Lord Chaitanya. And in the first meeting itself, he tells Lord Chaitanya, don't go to Vrindavan this way with thousands of people. Vrindavan is a secluded place. Go back. So Lord Chaitanya could have told, hey, you're meeting me first time and you're telling me what to do, what not to do. You continue with Nawab Hussain Shah. Maybe you're not getting leave to go. That's why you're stopping me or what. So he could have given so many excuses, he could have gone. He came back. He came back and then again in 1515 on Dashara with blessings of the devotees takes Balabhadra Bhattacharya and goes via Jharikhand forest, which is very difficult path, uncertain, uncharted territory, forests. But in that forest, when Balabhadra Bhattacharya is serving him, Lord Chaitanya embraces Balabhadra Bhattacharya and he says, do you know what is the secret of happiness, Balabhadra? Kripara samudra dine hine dayamoy Krishna kripa bina kon sukha nahi hoy. We may think fulfillment of my plan is happiness. Lord Chaitanya says no. Accepting Krishna's will as the final plan is real happiness. Krishna kripa bina kona sukha nahi hoy. To accept prosperity and adversity being given by the Krishna as his Mahaprasad, that is real joy. Bhattacharya alingiya tahare kohila tomar prasade ami eta sukha paila. He embraces Bhattacharya and says, by your grace, by your mercy, I am receiving so much joy and bliss. And Balabhadra Bhattacharya takes him to Vrindavan, and when Lord Chaitanya is in Vrindavan, he is in ecstasy. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is surrounded by again thousands of people who want to come and invite Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to their house of prasadam. Lord Chaitanya's ecstasy is growing and growing and growing, and Balabhadra Bhattacharya is miserable. And he comes to Lord Chaitanya one day and he says, Sahitena pari ami loker gadabadi nimantrana lagi loka kore huda hudi. People are all competing, fighting, shouting, screaming at me. Today Lord Chaitanya has to take lunch with me. Today he has to do this. Today. Are? And you disappear and go to, Imli Tala and sit there. I am sitting here in Akrur Ghat facing the music. You leave early in the morning, but early in the morning what happens? Pratah kale loka aise tomare na paye. Tomare na paye loka mora matha khaye. People come early in the morning and they start eating my head. Udvigna hoila prana sohite na pari. My mind is miserable. Can you imagine? He is right next to ecstasy personified. He is with Satchidananda, but he is miserable. So one may think, I am in this seva, therefore I am miserable. I am in this job, therefore I am miserable. I am in this relationship, therefore I am miserable. I am in this house, therefore no. You can be right next to Lord Chaitanya and still be miserable. So when Balabhadra Bhattacharya says, can we leave Vrindavan? Lord Chaitanya could have looked at him and said, you go. I never wanted to bring you. The devotees imposed you upon me. It was not my plan to bring you. You proceed. My ecstasy is growing, Baba. How can I leave? Yadyapi Vrindavan tyage nahe prabhurman bhakta ichha purite kohe madhura vachan. Lord Chaitanya had no desire to leave Vrindavan. But he understood Vrindavan means bhakta ichha purite. I have to fulfill the devotee's desire. So he decided to leave. So this is the second level, Sukha Dukkha. And Lord Chaitanya tells Balabhadra Bhattacharya, Sanatana Mukhe Krishna Ama Shikhaila. He didn't tell Sanatan Goswami changed my plan, you know. What a brilliant plan I had. Kab tak pahunch gaya hota. Sometimes when someone does something, we blame them. Lord Chaitanya says, no, Sanatana Mukhe Krishna Ama Shikhaila. Krishna spoke through Sanatan. Whoever does something is only instrument. So that is the principle for always being in Sukha. So that is the second level of tolerance, mental. Third is egoistic level. And what is that egoistic level? Jitatmana prashantasya paramatma samahita shita ushna sukha dukkeshu tatha mana apamanayo. Honor and dishonor. So Lord Chaitanya is at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has cooked a big feast and serving Lord Chaitanya. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's son-in-law, whose name is Amogha, he comes and he looks at Lord Chaitanya right in front of him and he says, "E annatripta hoye dasha barajan, ekela sannyasi kare eteka bhakshan." This food on the plate can feed 10-12 people. One person is eating so much? Hi, what kind of Vishay is this? When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya hears, he comes with a stick and he starts cursing Amogha. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is famous for speaking shlokas. But now when he is speaking these, curses, Tabe gali shapadite Bhattacharya aila, Ninda shuni Mahaprabhur hasite lagila. Lord Chaitanya has never heard these shlokas. So he starts smiling. And then Lord Chaitanya tells Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Prabhu kahe ninda nahe sahaja kahila, ihate tomar kripa aprada hoila. That, no, what he's saying is right only. You only have served so much on my plate. It is equivalent for 10-12 people. So what he's saying is right. But he's so close to you. Sarvabhauma sange tomar kalusha hoila kshay, kalmasha ghuchile jiva Krishna namaloy. And then Amogha gets diseased. Lord Chaitanya comes and embraces him and relieves him from that disease, saying that because you're related to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, may you be relieved, be purified. Sarvabhauma grihe dasa dasi ye kukur sehamora priya anya janarahudur. Anybody in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, das, dasi, or even a dog is very dear to me. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not accept insult, although Amogha has insulted him. And he demonstrates freedom from mana and apmana. So physical, mental, and honor and dishonor or egoistical. Fourth level is external. Tolerance when there are external troubles, inconveniences by others. How do we tolerate without retaliation? And the Bhagavatam first canto says, Tiraskrita vipralabdha shapta kshipta hatapi nasyadat pratikurvanti tad bhaktah prabhavopihi. That a devotee may be cursed or even tried to be killed or insulted, neglected, but na asyatat pratikurvanti. He does not retaliate. And so, when Thakur Haridas is whipped in several marketplaces, he says, "You may cut my body into pieces, but every part of my body will chant the holy names." When the prostitute comes and tries to bewilder him, Thakur Haridas says, "Haridas kahe tomar karimu angikar, sankhya purvaka naam amar na hoye amar." I have not finished and completed my round, so you please wait. And then she sits right near that Tulasi and hears Thakur Haridas and gets transformed. And therefore, Thakur Haridas transformed her through his association. Say Vaishya, say Gurur, Agya Magila, Gruha Bitta Jebachila, Brahmanere Dila. Whatever she had, she serves and distributes it to others. And that's the power of Thakur Haridas. And when he's sitting there, when she is completely transformed, at that point, she transforms her lifestyle. Tulasi sevan kore charvan upavas, indriya damana hoila premera prakash. She controls her senses, transforms her consciousness, and prema develops within her. And because of this, again in Shantipur, Maya Devi also tried to agitate Thakur Haridas. Maya dasi prema mage ithe ki mismay, sadhu kripa nama bina prema na janmay. But because of his conviction and not being agitated, she became dasi and started begging for prema. And so Kaviraj Goswami says, two things are required for prema. Sadhu kripa nama bina prema na janmay. Sadhu kripa and nama. Because of this tolerance demonstrated by Thakur Haridas, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraces Thakur Haridas. And Thakur Haridas says, "No, please, Haridas kahe, na choya more, moi neech asprishya parama pamore." I am fallen, I am untouchable. Lord Chaitanya says, "Kshane kshane karatumi sarvatirthera snan, kshane kshane karatumi yagya tapodan." You are constantly chanting the holy names without being distracted by any temptations outside. Every moment you are studying the Vedas, every moment you are distributing dhan, and you are actually fulfilling the conclusions of the Vedic literatures. Then we come to the level 5, where although externally we may not respond, but internally, can we guard our mind against harboring ill thoughts to the perpetrator? Dharmam bravishi dharmagya dharmoshi varsharupadrik yat adharmam kratam sthanam suchaka sapitat bhavet. Parikshit Maharaj asking again and again to the bull, who destroyed your love? Who attacked you? Who's the perpetrator? He refuses to name. And so based on that, Parikshit says, you are not accusing the perpetrator, which means you are dharma personified. And therefore, Nija Nija Shastrodgrahe Sabai Prachanda Sarvamata Dushi Prabhu Koila Khanda Khanda. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in South India is insulted, so not only, they bring like a plate full of unclean things, and then a bird comes and the guru of that group ultimately becomes unconscious. So when all of the disciples approach Lord Chaitanya gives mercy. And Guru Karne Kohe Sabe Krishna Rama Hari Chaitanya Paya Acharya Bole Hari Hari. So Lord Chaitanya does not harbor any ill feeling, and in fact delivers that personality and that whole group. So this is the 5th level, where not only externally but internally, we do not harbor any ill feeling. So this is the fifth level. So what is sixth level? Sixth level is at the spiritual level. One prays for the welfare of the wrongdoer and sees them as instruments of purification. Like Ambrish Maharaj. He was praying for Durvasa, and Durvasa finally acknowledges. Aho anantadasana mahatvam drishtamadhyame Kartagasopi Yanrajan Mangalani Samhis. He is praying for my deliverance. He is a Vaishnava. Forgiveness is the blood group of the Vaishnava. And therefore, I can recognize that he is a Vaishnava. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his pastimes, he demonstrates this principle that when he is delivering Jagai and Madhai, he is seeing Lord Nityananda Prabhu's bhav in completely giving himself to deliver Jagai and Madhai. Although Lord Chaitanya wants to punish, but seeing that bhav of Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya understands this is the person who can represent me in Bengal. Prativarshe Nilachale Tumina Asiba Gauda Rahe Mora Ichha Safala Kariba. This kind of compassion, pure compassion, is what qualifies Lord Nityananda to become the representative of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya says every year, for next almost 16 to 18 years, devotees came from Bengal to Puri for Rath Yatra. Nityananda came only 1 year. Remaining 17 years he never came, because Lord Chaitanya gave him that order. And in this way, the 6 levels of tolerance makes us stronger, mature, dependent, makes us enhance our remembrance, detached, equanimity, and we rise above all kinds of dualities. And love of Krishna ultimately is defined by Radhanath Maharaj beautifully. Love of Krishna means one who loves Krishna, one who loves who are trying to love Krishna, and one whom Krishna loves. So therefore, Trinad api sunechena taror api sahishnuna. We discussed this morning about humility and tolerance as 2 very, very powerful fundamental, basic qualifications required for chanting the holy names incessantly. Amanina Manadena, I am planning to speak at Govardhan Eco Village in the evening. That's how I had planned. But this is English, that is Hindi. So I'm very, very grateful to Srila Prabhupada for giving us the beautiful works of our acharyas, especially the Sri Caitanya-caritamrta, with fantastic commentaries, beautiful insights, deep realizations, a lot of embellishment with local history, the exact names of the holy places, and how much far that railway station is, and all those details. Srila Prabhupada beautifully embellishes in this Caitanya-caritamrta. So for all the devotees who are sitting here in this assembly and those who are going to be watching this, it's a sincere request that please do purchase Sri Caitanya-caritamrta, written by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, published by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. And as we speak, we are also in the midst of a Caitanya-caritamrta marathon, which is being conducted right now. So we encourage everyone to also take a Caitanya-caritamrta to your home. Huh? Oh, there is something here. On the occasion of Sri Gaur Purnima, ISKCON Chowpatty Book Distribution Department is offering flat. Not offering a flat. Offering a flat? Everyone seems excited. Offering flat 50% discount on Caitanya-caritamrta sets. Those who want to get CC sets, kindly visit or contact the book Go Down. This offer is only for ISKCON Chowpatty congregation and its connected centers. You must be having on your forehead a self-revealed, tag that you are from ISKCON Chowpatty. Then only you'll get. So they have different ways of proving that you're from here. So grateful to all the sponsors who are supporting this wonderful drive. Please do take this Caitanya-caritamrta and place it in your home and do read it on a regular basis and dive deep into Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's beautiful, brilliant nectarian pastimes. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Let us thank His Grace Gauranga Prabhu for such wonderful nectarian class by 3 times loudly chanting. Thank you, Prabhu. So now next we'll invite His Grace Sridhama Prabhu to come and continue the nectar of Chaitanya Lila. Hari Bol.